They tell you to just be confident, to act like you don't care, to focus on yourself, and she'll come running. But here's the brutal truth. Most guys who think they're doing that are still chasing quietly. Indirectly, mentally, they're still performing, still hoping, still watching the phone. You can be sitting in silence, doing nothing at all, and still be chasing. Chasing isn't an action, it's a posture, a smell, a subconscious leak of energy that says, I'm trying to earn you. And women, they can smell that from miles away. No matter how cool your voice sounds, no matter how busy you pretend to be, if your attention is orbiting her, she knows. And she instantly puts you in the same drawer as every other forgettable guy who wanted her more than he wanted himself. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to reverse that dynamic, to stop orbiting and make her gravitate toward you, like her life depends on it. You meet a girl, she's pretty funny, got that little spark that hits you in the gut. You talk, she laughs, you walk away thinking you played it cool. Maybe you text her later, maybe you don't, but you're thinking about her, you're reviewing what you said, you're wondering what she thought, you're building scenarios in your head where this could go, what you'd say next, how she'd react if you've already lost. Not because you texted too soon, not because you didn't wait 3 days or follow some alpha dating tactic, but because in your mind she's already the reward, she's the main storyline, and now whether you admit it or not, you're performing for her. Your masculinity has been hijacked, reprogrammed to impress rather than express. You've turned her into a judge, and yourself into a contestant. She can feel it. She may smile, she may keep the conversation going, but underneath, she's filing you under just another one. Because when a woman feels that you've placed her above yourself, even subtly, it's over. Not because she's cruel, not because she wants to dominate, but because something primal inside her needs to feel that you are the anchor, not the balloon. And the second your frame depends on her reaction, you become weightless. You chase, even if your feet aren't moving. Here's what obsession really looks like to a woman. She's replaying what you said. She's thinking, why the hell didn't he compliment me like the others? She's wondering, does he even like me? She's analyzing, dreaming, scheming ways to get your attention again. And here's the twist. Most guys don't want to hear. She only gets obsessed when she feels just enough disorientation. Disorientation isn't about playing games. It's about being deeply rooted in your own world. So much so that she can't quite place herself in it. She doesn't know your schedule. She can't predict your next message. She sees your confidence, but not your need. She hears your voice, but it never trembles with validation, seeking. You're the one guy who doesn't try to impress her, and that drives her insane. Because women have been trained since puberty to read male intent, compliments, gifts, good morning texts. They've seen it all, and each one comes with a price tag. Please like me back. So when you show up and offer nothing but presence, no agenda, no asking, no proving, it scrambles the system. She can't file you under anything. You don't need her, but you enjoy her. You don't chase her, but you allow her in. Now she's intrigued. Now she's analyzing you. But here's where most guys screw it up. They hear don't chase, and they go cold. Silent, unavailable. They confuse sovereignty with detachment. But you're not a rock. You're not emotionless. You feel everything, but you express nothing that reeks of please, choose me. You can flirt, you can laugh, you can be playful, just never perform, never. You don't buy her attention with words. You don't purchase her interest with plans. You simply exist in front of her like a man who knows exactly who he is, with or without her. And this is where obsession is born. Not when she sees how much you want her, but when she realizes she can't quite figure out if you do. She texts you, something vague, something flirty. Maybe it's "you're so weird lol." Maybe it's a meme. Doesn't matter. You see it, and for a second, your heart jumps. That dopamine hit. She's thinking about you. She initiated. You're tempted to fire back instantly, say something clever, show her you're still there. But you stop, because you remember something deeper than game. Your time, your energy, your attention. It's a currency, and she doesn't get unlimited access to it just for showing up. So you wait. Not because you're playing it cool, but because you're genuinely occupied. You've got a mission, a direction, things that make your heart beat faster than a girl's half-interested text. When you do respond, it's short, teasing, unpredictable, but never cold. You don't punish her for being interested. You just never reward low effort with high return. And she feels it. Not in your words, but in your weight. She senses that your attention isn't guaranteed, that she has to earn your focus, that you're not starved for affection like the other guys sliding into her DMs with "hey beautiful" and fire emojis. You're not desperate. You're not reactive, you're deliberate. And women, they don't chase men who chase them. They chase the ones who make them feel like chasing. That's the entire game. Imagine this, she's in her bed at night, scrolling. You haven't posted, you haven't texted, but your last conversation is still echoing in her head. The way you looked at her, not hungry, not needy, just composed, like you already knew how the night would end. The way you changed topics without asking, the way you teased her without apologizing. She can't stop thinking about it, because for the first time in a long time she felt a man's presence without pressure, and that's rare. Most guys try to collapse the mystery. They over-explain, they overshare, they give her a manual on how to handle them emotionally. You don't. You give her glimpses, enough to spark her curiosity, never enough to satisfy it. You're open, but you're not transparent. You're kind, but not compliant. You're strong, but never overcompensating. You are the reward, not her, and that flips her brain inside out. Look, chasing is not just texting too much or planning 5 dates ahead. Chasing is when your emotional center leans toward her. It's when your mind is occupied with what she might do, say, feel, want. You think you're calm, but your energy is tilted forward. You're leaning, and that lean is what kills attraction. Women don't want a man who leans. They want a man who stands, who plants his feet in his own reality and invites her to step into it. Not a fantasy, not a script, just a stable, unshakable energy that doesn't sway based on her mood swings, her replies, or her little tests. You think ignoring her test will make her like you. Wrong. What makes her obsessed is when her tests don't even register. When you don't flinch, when she says something sarcastic, and you don't get defensive, you smile because you saw it coming. When she pulls back a little, and you don't pursue, you pull back further, not out of strategy, but because her presence was never your fuel. Your center is you, always. And when a woman sees that you're emotionally immovable, that your world doesn't shift based on her interest, she leans in, she texts more, she asks more questions, she tries harder, because you've just become the rarest thing in her life. A man she can't control. She starts dressing a little nicer when she knows you'll be around. She brings up random topics just to see how you'll respond. She posts stories not to express herself, but to get your attention. And the best part, you don't even react. You see it, you know exactly what she's doing, but you don't take the bait. Because her little tactics don't control your attention. Your attention is sacred, reserved for value, for depth, for the few who actually show up with intention, not validation hunger. This is where most men fail. They think being unreactive means being unavailable, that they have to ignore women, ghost them, play dumb games. That's not power, that's fear in disguise. The truth is, real power is presence without need. Engagement without attachment. You can compliment her, look her in the eye, make her laugh, and walk away just as easily, because you don't need her to feel like a man. You already are one, and she senses that. It terrifies her and excites her, because in a world of boys trying to win her, you're the one man she feels the need to win. It starts slowly. She asks about your day more often. She gets curious about your plans. She tries to be part of them, not because you asked, but because you didn't. That's the paradox. The less you chase, the more she runs after your attention, if you're rooted in your truth. But if you're not chasing is just a strategy to get her hooked, she'll sniff that out too. Women are emotional bloodhounds. They can smell when your indifference is fake, when your I don't care is just a mask for I hope this works. She'll test that mask. She'll prod you with silence, disinterest, even coldness. She'll wait to see if you crack. If your confidence collapses into anxious checking, over-explaining, or worse, trying to win her again. And here's the raw truth, the second you do, she's out. You want to know what real confidence is. It's when she pulls away and you don't even flinch. Not because you're trying to win the breakup or show her what she's missing, but because you genuinely know that your life is too full, too rich, too grounded to get derailed by someone else's confusion. Let her flake, let her delay the reply, let her throw her little storm. You don't chase storms, you walk through them dry, because you don't operate from scarcity. You know women are abundant, but you are not. There's only one of you, your mind, your ambition, your energy. That's the rare currency. That's the real prize, and any girl who doesn't see that can watch you walk away without a backward glance. That's when they come running. Not when you prove your worth, but when you silently assert it. No begging, no convincing, no performing. You just stand. And eventually, the world bends to you. She shows up again, texts you something random, maybe a meme, maybe a hey, maybe it's been a week since she ghosted. You don't jump, you don't celebrate, you don't punish her either. You just respond like a man who is never waiting. You're calm, collected. Your message is short, solid. No over-explanation. No, where have you been? No, I missed you. Because you didn't. You were too busy building your life. You were laughing with friends, hitting the gym. building your empire, and when she realizes that you're not bitter, but also not hungry, that's when her brain snaps. She's used to men who punish. She's used to men who chase. You did neither. You stayed rooted, so now she's chasing you. But here's the key. You don't reward her for crumbs. You don't give her the full experience just because she came back. You scale your attention to her investment, not her looks, not her potential, not your fantasy of her effort. That's the filter. She shows real energy, you match it. She gives little breadcrumbs, you brush them off. And if she ever pulls back again, you never try to pull her forward. You let her drift, you let her test, you let her spin in her own mind until she realizes what you are. A man who doesn't move for attention, a man who doesn't trade leadership for affection, a man whose world keeps turning, with or without her. That's when obsession hits its peak. It's not magic, it's not manipulation, it's not game, it's presence, discipline, self-honesty. Most men aren't obsessed with women. They're obsessed with being chosen, and that obsession bleeds into every word they say, every glance, every message. Even silence becomes a performance. Look, I didn't text her back. I'm alpha now. She sees through that. But when you stop waiting to be chosen, when you stop needing her to validate you, fix you, crown you, that's when she chases your crown. Because it's not about how cool you act, it's about how free you are. You walk into a room and your energy says, I already chose myself. You speak, and your tone says, you're welcome to come along, but I'm not slowing down. You look at her, not like she's your goal, but like she's a guest star in your movie. And maybe, if she plays her part right, she can stick around. But if not, the show goes on. And this is what breaks women's expectations. Not the guy who's mean, not the guy who ghosts, but the one who can be kind, warm, playful, and still vanish without a trace if he's not respected. The one who can make her laugh, kiss her like she's the only woman in the world, and mean it, while still knowing he'll never beg her to stay, because he doesn't need her to. He only needs himself. Let's get brutally honest. The only reason a woman ever gets obsessed with a man is because she feels something when she's around him that she doesn't feel anywhere else. And no, it's not butterflies or fairy tale nonsense. It's uncertainty wrapped in strength. She can't fully figure you out, but she trusts you. You're a paradox. You're both unpredictable and grounded. Warm but unmoved kind, but not soft. Most guys are easy to read. They're open books written in desperation. They say what they think she wants to hear. They mirror her interests. They mold themselves into her ideal. But women aren't drawn to men who fit in their fantasies. They're drawn to men who interrupt them, who rattle something deep, who walk in like they've already lived 1,000 lives and don't need her to validate a single one of them. And when you become that man, without even trying, her brain starts looping. She rewatches conversations. She overanalyzes pauses. She tells her friends, there's just something about him, and her friends don't get it because you don't fit any of the cliché phase. You didn't simp, you didn't chase, you didn't get flustered, you didn't put her on a pedestal. You were just you, and you was more than enough. But let's not lie, getting to that point takes work. Not fake confidence, not YouTube advice regurgitation, real internal rewiring. Because as long as you secretly believe that her approval is a prize, you will leak need, you will chase, and she will lose interest, not because she's cruel, but because evolution hardwired her to seek strength, not physical biceps, on display strength, emotional sovereignty. So the work is this: stop performing, stop imagining conversations before they happen, stop building your mood around hers, stop waking up and checking your phone to see if she texted, and most importantly, stop needing a woman to complete the picture. You are the damn picture. You are the frame, the canvas, the gallery, and if a woman walks into your world, great, let her enhance it, let her add to the atmosphere. But if she walks out, the gallery stays open, the lights stay on, the art remains untouched. Because you were never built around her, you were built for you. And that's the kind of man she'll chase for years, not because you wanted her to, but because you never needed her to.